It is the middle of October, and I'm gonna give you a rundown of how I get my garlic planted. If you're in the Northeast, the best time to do it is right now, middle of October. So let's get into it. This is not going to be a super long video, 25 minutes, because it doesn't have to be. I mean, after all, we're only planting garlic. But in this video, I do want to touch on two important things, which is what type of garlic that you want to plant and fertilizer. Yes, fertilizer for garlic is very important because they are very heavy feeders. So we're going to talk about that too. There's two types of garlic you can grow. You have soft neck and you have hard neck. What is the difference? Well, there really isn't that much of a difference, other than if you live in like the Northeast, when I say Northeast, meaning, you know, if you're in a state that gets a really, really cold winter freeze, hard neck garlic is best for those conditions, as the soft neck is best for warmer climates down south. But you can still grow soft neck in the Northeast. It just doesn't do as well as the hard neck. The other thing about garlic is the type of vegetable that needs a stratification point, where garlic needs to actually basically freeze in order for it to grow. So like in the southern states where people, you know, they don't get like those really cold temperatures. One of the tricks a lot of southern gardeners do is they'll buy their garlic 2 months before planting, maybe even 3 months, and they'll stick it in the back of the refrigerator so that garlic gets really cold. And then when they plant it in the fall, because they never really have any freeze down south, the garlic already sensed that it had its stratification period, so the garlic grows throughout the whole winter down south. Now here in the north, I don't do the refrigerator method too often unless I'm going to plant in the spring so I can have a summer growing season of garlic. But I don't like growing garlic in the summertime because garlic takes 9 months to come to full maturity. So that's 9 months that's occupying space in my garden beds that throughout the summer I can have something else growing in that space. So keep that in mind. So I plant in October. This garlic's going to get going a little bit, and then the ground's going to freeze and this garlic's going to go dormant. That's its natural stratification period. Then come the springtime, next April of 23, once the soil starts warming back up again, the garlic's going to wake up and it's going to say, okay, now it's time for me to start making a bulb, just like this. So as you can see, here's the garlic, and these are actually big, beautiful cloves. And that's pretty much what you want, is nice, big garlic cloves like that. This is just so happens that these are all beautiful, these are all big, but you want to stay away from, you know, I don't even have an example here to show you, but you want to stay away from tiny, skinny little cloves, because they don't generally produce as big of a bulb as like these big ones do. So try to stay away from the tiny one. Oh, I got an example here. You see that, how small that one is compared to these? See this? I take in the house and I use this for cooking. I don't even plant this. I plant is the biggest ones. That's what you want. And if you're wondering, can you plant garlic from the grocery store? The answer is yes. You can plant it from the grocery store. The results that you get, doesn't matter whether it's seed garlic or from the grocery store, The final results are up to how you did it. And I will touch that on the closing of this video. But for now, I'm just going to basically, as you're just breaking apart your garlic cloves, do not take this paper off. You see this silky paper? Do not take that off. Leave it just like that. Don't worry, oh, but how is it going to come through that? Don't worry. Garlic knows what it's doing. It does it on its own. This is the fertilizer I use. Is blood meal is the only fertilizer I use to get the garlic going. Is this stuff. It's pure nitrogen. That's what I use to get it going, and in the springtime I jump onto a different fertilizer, but that's in the spring. But for right now, to prepare the bed for it, we're going to use is blood meal. So I'm going 6 inches apart, about 2 inches deep. So with garlic, pointy side up. That's the root end, pointy side up. And you just, basically you throw it in the hole. Alright, so the garlic is all planted right here in this one little section of this raised garden bed, and I do have mulch there. That's shavings from the chicken coop. As I clean it, I amend it into the soil, but that's going to act as a mulch. But I'm going to bring you guys back in about 7 days, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. What the garlic's going to do, I'm going to show you how it is going to start sprouting, and then I'm going to be adding the mulch to it. And that's pretty much good night for the winter time. We will not see this garlic again, but I will bring you back in about a week or so, and I'll show you what the garlic's going to want to do when you plant it in middle of October. And one more thing I forgot to mention about the fertilizer. You guys saw me put the blood meal down, and then you watched me hose it down a little bit. Well, the reason why you want to, when you do something like that, whether it's pelletized fertilizer, granular fertilizer, or powdered fertilizer like that, you should always water it. So this way it activates the fertilizer, because if the fertilizer just sits there and it's not watered, then it's not activated. So this garlic here, the fertilizer is going to activate just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then it's going to sit there. The garlic's going to take very little of that nitrogen. And the reason why you want to soak and get your fertilizer activated is because it's going to sit there now for 4 or 5 months. And the garlic's going to take up just a little bit of it right now. But by the time it gets to the spring, that fertilizer is 100%. It's no longer slow release. It's 100% available for that garlic to uptake however much nitrogen that it wants. So it is important to actually put your fertilizer down and water it in really well so it activates the fertilizer. And then the fertilizer will just slow release all winter long. But the garlic's not going to be taking up that fertilizer, because remember, the garlic will be asleep. So keep that in mind. Actually, I think the garlic's already starting to poke through the ground. So I'll keep you in this video. Let's go right back and let's go check it out. And sure enough, like I said, the garlic has come up. Look at that. There it is. A good look at it. It's all come up. That was pretty quick, wasn't it? Well, to be honest with you guys, this is actually 1.5 weeks later. So this is about 9 days since I planted this garlic. And now you see it came up. Now let me explain to you why I didn't mulch immediately, right from the get-go. Okay, so I got everything all nice and mulched. As you can see, I pretty much buried the garlic all underneath. I really don't want anything sticking out at this point. Got one here, straggler here, there. But don't worry about it. Cover it up. Make sure you get it, covered up as much as you can. Just like that. So one of the reasons why I didn't mulch the garlic as soon as I planted it is simply because I always like to see my germination rate sooner rather than later, because if I had mulched this the same day that I planted it 9 days ago, you saw the size of it. Chances are right now I would have to go digging through that mulch layer to see and take a wild guess as to how many germinated. So by planting it the way I did and then leaving the soil, bare without any mulch, I can visually easily see what my germination rate is. As you guys could see there, it looked to me, I was happy with it. Looked like 98, 99% of the garlic did come up. Some slower than others, that's expected. But that's the reason why I wait for the mulching part, and it does not harm anything. Now, mulching is very important, especially up in the Northeast, the northern states, that you get those really cold winters and you get that wind. One of the enemies of any vegetable plant, or any plant for that matter, is cold wind. It's not necessarily the cold, it's that wind. And if these garlic leaves are exposed throughout the winter, let's say they're this tall, call it a foot tall, and they're not mulched, basically, the cold wind is going to kill your garlic. And then you're going to say, well, my garlic was doing fine, and then come springtime it's all dead. That's because you didn't mulch it. Now, if you're saying, well, now the garlic doesn't have any sun to photosynthesize, well, don't worry about that. Garlic is very tough. This garlic already was exposed to the sun without the mulch. So the other benefit of not mulching is that you can get away with mulching and totally covering him now, is because this garlic already knows that up here there's sunlight. So this garlic is so tough that right now nothing is going to stop it from coming to seek that sun so it can photosynthesize. So don't worry about if you cover the whole thing. You can't kill this garlic this way. Trust me. Unless you're mulching with bricks or something, then that's a different story. But with this stuff, hay, leaves, I actually don't recommend like full leaves, because leaves compact. And once leaves compact, it's like almost like you're putting a carpet over them, but fine stuff like this, that right there, the garlic will go through it like nothing. And basically that's the reason, that's how I do it. And if you guys would like to try it the way I do it, certainly be more than willing to experiment with it. There's also a lot of other great YouTube videos out there from other people that don't do it necessarily the way I do it, but nonetheless it works for them as well the way they do it. Certainly feel free to go try and watch some other people's videos. So I hope this video helps you. I hope you liked it enough that you can at least give the video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And if you would like to subscribe, you can click the subscribe button right down there. And until next time, I'll be showing you guys this garlic in the spring and what I'm going to do next with it when it comes time to really give it another spring fertilizer. You guys all stay safe.